Last, we've got the Colts up. Andrew Luck is not applicable for points per game last year, but it looks like he probably will be back. He's currently going as the 13th quarterback off the board. His ADP is rising quickly here.
What do you have written down for ADP?
1009.
Yeah, he's moved to 905 in the last.
So he's probably up to 10 or 11.
I think
now.
He's at 10 or 11 QB off the board.
So he's already passed my rankings now. I got him as my 12.
He's my 9.
I'm a little concerned about his weapons outside of Hilton right now.
He seems to make hay with.
He seems to make a lot
Moncrief work. So
he seems to make a lot out of nothing, and he's got 2 relevant tight ends. So I worry about that. He's got 2 relevant tight ends and a really good pass catching back times 2. So
possibly 3.
Possibly 3. So
question mark.
Yeah, I don't necessarily worry about that. You look at this offense. Rivers was at 66% completion in this offense. Wentz was around 60. Luck's at 59.2 for his career, which is a lot lower than I thought. But you got to figure that's going to come up a little bit. He's an oddly good running quarterback, 60-plus attempts every season at a career 5.0 yards per carry.
Well, no, he's a much better athlete than people give him credit for.
He is. Multiple rushing touchdowns every season. So I like him in this offense. I think this offense will help his throwing efficiency, which was lower than I thought it was, and I don't think the rushing efficiency is going anywhere because he's still going to be running for his life. So
I think for me, it's just if they decide to keep him, I guess, on a throw count, if they're concerned about the shoulder at all. I mean, obviously they wouldn't play me if they're not concerned.
Maybe they lean pitch count.
Maybe they lean a little bit heavier on the running game early on, let him take a couple hits. But I think as soon as he's on court, I mean, he's the top 3 to 5, QB almost every week.
All right. Dean?
I've got him at 16th. I don't know how long it'll take him to get all the rust off. Like you were saying, it may take some time for him to get back in that groove if he's on a pitch count or if he they're just not throwing the ball as much to start with. But when he's healthy and Andrew Luck again, he can put up numbers like anybody else and like only a few other guys can in the NFL.
If he's going 13th quarterback off the board, I will take that.
Well, he's already jumped up to probably 10 or 11 now.
Let's see what it is right now.
In a heartbeat. I'll still take that.
All right. Well, Dan's looking that up. Let's go ahead and jump on to the running backs. We got Marlon Mack, Nyheim Hines, and Jordan Wilkins. Who are we putting our chips on? Given that we're going 605 for Mack, 1110 for Himes, and Wilkins is undrafted right now.
My chips are on Hines. So reach offenses, right? Danny Wood had 106 targets. Darren Sproles 71 when wide receiver cores were lackluster, which this one definitely is. 112.75 pass attempts to backs. Wilkins, I think, is kind of going to have the Blunt Matthews role of this backfield. Hines, I think, falls into the Sproles Woodhead role. And Mack is kind of the change of pace guy for both of those because he can do both. But I don't think he's necessarily great at either of them. So my money's on Nyheim Hines, just given the way that when Frank Reich has had lackluster receiving cords, he's targeted running backs, and I think he's the most dynamic pass catcher of the 3.
I think Mack gets first crack, but you're gonna have to ask me this question as soon as preseason's at least a couple 3 games in. Wilkins has the best body to be the 3-down back. Hines is ridiculously good pass catching back, but if Mack can secure his role to start the season, and if Luck is healthy, whoever the running back is starting though is going to be dynamic. I don't like him that much in the 6-12. But I expect that to kind of fluctuate depending on how the offseason looks. Plus, he just had his shoulder surgery, so who knows how well he comes back from that right away.
Dean?
Yeah, I've got Mack as the 34th running back off the board, and I think it's Mack's job to lose. I think they tried to work him in last year with Frank Gore, but then Mack himself got hurt. I think that Hines will have a role as a 3rd down back. Wilkins, I'm not sure. He may have a change of pace role.
Yeah, I don't have Wilkins rated, but he is a major watch player for me, especially if you see any decent work in preseason for him. I'll be way more interested. Hines, I'm concerned that he may not get enough touches. I kind of project him kind of the 8 to 10 touch range. So full point PPR, I'm way more interested than half or standard. And then Mac, I think he's going to be like, if he can win this job with that improved offensive line and luck back, he could possibly be a league winner for you. But he's also could be nothing and lose this job. So he's a major kind of home run swing.
That's why I just
6th.
ask us in the 3rd preseason game.
We'll know more then, but we got to try to project now. So Mac, I've currently got him as a mid 6th pick myself, so right around where his ADP is.
Okay.
T.Y. Hilton, how do we see him performing now that Luck's back?
It's a complete bounce back. Targets is going to be a plenty as number 1 wide receivers, and Frank Reich's offense averaged over 8.5 targets a game, 15.6 career yards per reception. He had a below average season, but I honestly think that T.Y. Hilton, you don't have anybody else to throw to other than tight ends and running backs. So for me, it's a bounce back wide receiver 1 season for T.Y. Hilton with Luck healthy.
He's my 12. He's going 3-12 right now. I expect that to go up with more news on Luck, especially if it's positive news. He was the wide receiver 5 in 2016.
Yep.
So he's going to be wide receiver 1 in this offense with the lack of wide receiver 2 right now.
All right, Dean.
Yeah, I've got him at 13th wide receiver. He's the target. Grant and Rogers, I don't know if they'll be targeted much at all. I think Hilton is the guy as far as the wideouts go.
Yeah, so his average career year with Luck, and this is including his rookie season when he was not even the wide receiver 1, 75 catches, 1,172 yards, and 6 touchdowns.
Beast.
That's pretty dang good.
Yep.
So with Luck, you can basically cash him in as a high-end wide receiver 2, probably about worst, and he may even give you a wide receiver 1 season. So I've got him as my 14. He may creep up towards 12. Between Grant, Rogers, Fountain, and Kane, anyone you're even thinking of maybe taking a late-run flyer on?
No.
Just avoiding all entirely?
Not right now. Like I said, I know we're trying to project them now, but we got to wait till preseason to see who has the number 2 role. Because I think that'll have value. It's the second receiver.
Krishan Hogan?
Or Krishan Hogan. Does he make the team?
Yes.
It's got a lot of skill. A lot of athletic ability.
If I'm taking a dirt throw on anybody, it's probably him. Shut out PSI. Moving on.
All right. Any other thoughts on that, Dean?
No, I'm good.
All right.
Fam.
And then where are we sitting on Jack Doyle and Eric Ebron? This offense has supported 2 semi-fantasy relevant tight ends before, and these are probably the best pairing they've ever had.
It's going to be a split. You had 19% versus 9% for Ertz and Burton plus Selleck with good receivers and no receiving back. Ertz and Burton plus Selleck with Darren Sproles and 200 plus targets wide receivers. You saw your tight ends go to 17% versus 12% for the 2 of them. And then with Woodhead, half a season of Allen, and really nobody else at wide receiver, they were 14% for Gates and 10% for Ladarius Green in this offense. I think that's more what you see as a 14-10 split. Doyle's going to lose some targets. Ebron's going to command some. However, I think the efficiency bumps up. Doyle had a 3% split on his catchable target versus catch rate, which is insanely good. That means he's catching about everything he should be catching.
Yep.
So for me, edge, Doyle, Ebron, and 2 tight ends and streamer, but I think that they're both relevant given the lack of other receiving options on this team.
Do you have either one ranked as a tight end 1?
Doyle, I think, is going to slip into back end.
He's my 13th.
Yeah, I got him at 13 as well. And Ebron's my 15.
I think you'll see all the safe throws. I think he'll be like, he's not seeing 24% target share again. He's not going to see 100 targets potentially, but I think he's going to be Luck's go-to safety plan, safety valve, on the 3rd down. And then there's Ebron. If he can secure him a role here, I think he'll be more of the deeper threat tight end, maybe down the seam or something like that.
I got Doyle at 91 targets. I've got Ebron at 52.
Okay. So Doyle last year saw 108, so that would be a regression from last year.
Yep, absolutely.
I expect that.
Historically, before last season, he saw around 75 as his high. So,
and that was when he was the number 2 to Dwayne Allen, I think, during his first.
He was a 2 to Dwayne Allen, and they had receivers.
Yeah. Moncrief, Philip Dorsett, and T.Y.
Yeah.
All right. Gene, any thoughts on these guys?
Yeah, I've got Jack Doyle as my 10th tight end on the board. He actually was 2nd in receptions among tight ends last year with 80. I mean, the only guy that caught more was Travis Kelce. So he won't have as much opportunity with Ebron, but I'm just not an Eric Ebron fan. I've got him at 24.
That's a good decision to not be an Eric Ebron fan. I'm right on board with you there.
Well, I tweeted out a while back there should be a Eric Ebron 12-step program when it comes to fantasy football because every time I draft the guy, he just kills me, it seems like.
And it's always
I think Doyle might regress a little.
There's always preseason hype on Ebron, too. That just fails miserably.
Well, the nice thing is at the moment, he is not being drafted in standard PPR leagues. So
At the moment.
you wouldn't even have to spend anything besides your last position pick on him if you decided you wanted to stash him. So he wouldn't kill you nearly as much as previous years. All right. Anything else to add on the Colts besides this is probably our number one watch team in preseason for how many camp battles are going to be?
Nope.
All right. Well, that is it for the AFC South. Thank you so much, Dean, for jumping on here. You can find him at BadAppleFFB on Twitter, writing for at FPC_FF and at FPC_Titans. Anything else you want to shout out, Dean, before we let you go?
No, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Yep. Happy to be your second podcast.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
All right. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Untapped if you want to see our beer reviews for each episode that Hopper types out at BeerfieldFF. On Facebook and YouTube is Beerfield Fantasy Football. Remember to like us on Facebook, screenshot it. Subscribe to us on YouTube, screenshot it, and drop us a review on iTunes and screenshot it. Email all three of those to beerfieldfantasy@gmail.com for up to 3 total entries into the Dynasty Listener League. We'll be doing drawings for those when we record our next episodes this next Saturday, and we'll be announcing those over the weekend on YouTube. Anything else we want to shout out, guys, before we put a bow on the divisions?
Nope.
All right. Well, I am at Nick Sparts. Dan Thury across the table from me.
At Thury BFF.
To my left, Christopher Hopper.
At Hot BFF with you, peace.
Thank you so much for listening. We'll be back next week as we start moving closer to the season, and we'll catch you guys next time on Beerfield Fantasy Football.
See ya.
Peace.